So the recording has started.
Okay. Uh, Now, what is counseling? I said counseling is the best medicine against stress. Counseling is a discussion with an employee of a problem that usually has emotional content in order to help the employee cope with it better. Counseling seeks to improve employee mental health and well-being. So counseling is actually a discussion between two parties. One party who is under stress, and the second party who is the manager or the psychiatrist or the second group of people. Now, you as a manager, you have to, besides your other responsibilities, you also have to be a counselor. You have to counsel your employees who are going through stress. This will be your additional responsibility. And just a little bit of knowledge, little bit of experience will help you. You don't have to have a PhD degree on this. You know, psychologists, psychiatrists, they do this counseling and they take a huge amount of money just to listen to stories. And it's not just listening to stories. They make a diagnosis, they give medication, prescription based on that. But you will not go into such depth, but just by listening with your wisdom, because most of the stressors, the reason why stress has been created in an employee is related to your job, and you have enough experience on this job and this environment, and you'll be able to give a solution to that. And at times, by just by ventilating, just by sharing your problem, will reduce it to a great extent. You know, a good doctor, just by talking to a good doctor, people say that half of the problem sickness is gone and rest half is cured by medicine. So by just by talking and sharing and ventilating, that's a big relief. It's like a pressure cooker. The pressure is leaked out, and you're relieved and you feel much better. That is what is counseling. So counseling, there are certain functions, the benefits out of counseling, certain functions. Number one, through counseling, you can advise people. Somebody who has come to you for counseling and said, "That's why I'm having a serious problem. My mother is sick, my wife is pregnant, I have two small children, they are also sick, my father is sick, I have to send them to the hospital, the salary that I get is not enough, I have to do a second job to earn some more money, and I'm stressed, I don't know what to do." And you can advise them. You can advise them, that individual, okay, you have to balance your life, I understand your mother is sick, do not take any other children, two is enough. And then if you want to do a second job, you can, one thing you can do overtime here, or I can shift your first duty in the morning, so in the afternoon you can do your second job. You give them advice. So advising is one of the major functions of counseling. Reassurance, giving confidence, injecting confidence into the individual who is going through the stress. Somebody comes and tells us, "I just cannot do this job, it's too much for me, I don't have that intelligence." And you reassure them, "No, no, you're wrong, don't underestimate yourself, you're capable, you just have to give a more effort to it, you have to just work a little bit harder, you'll be successful today or tomorrow." Reassuring, giving reassurance is another function of counseling. Communication, at times there is a communication gap. Counseling clears the communication so that you understand each other clearly. Release of emotional tension, as I said, it acts as a valve, and that individual, if they share their problem with you, that reduces, because this tension is reduced. Clarified thinking, you allow the individual to think clearly, think straightly, because if you're under stress, it affects your thought process. You're not capable of taking the right decision. So through counseling, your right path, right way of thinking can be shown to the individual. Reorientation, maybe you're thinking totally in the wrong direction, so you have to reorient your thinking process. This can be done through proper encouragement, setting specific goals and trying to achieve that goal. So functions of counseling are quite important, and all these functions can be achieved through proper counseling. Now, counseling is of three categories. The next few slides shows the difference or the definition of these three categories. Let me explain it here. One is directive counseling, one is participative counseling, and the last one is non-directive counseling. Now, in a counseling session, there are two parties. One is the counselee, the person who is going through the stress, who has come for some mental relief, that is counselee, and the counselor. You are the counselor as a manager. So it is between the two parties. Now, in a directive counseling session, the counselor, that means you as a manager, you will be asking all the questions. You will be directing the conversation. The counselee or the victim will have no control over the discussion. You will be directing the questions and that person will be answering the question. That is directive counseling. You control, the counselor, the manager controls the discussion. Participative counseling is where both the counselee and the counselor participates. Here, you as a manager or the counselor, you ask certain questions and he answers. He may also ask you, the counselee may ask you certain questions that you answer. It is like a conversation between both parties, and both parties have equal control over the discussion. Both parties participated. That is a participative counseling. And the third is non-directive counseling. Non-directive counseling is you as the counselor or you as the manager, you just sit and listen to the words of the counselee. You allow the counselee to say whatever he wants or she wants. Let him or her share her story, share her problem, tell you about how to solve it. Let that individual say whatever they want. You just listen, you just remain quiet and you listen. At times you may ask one or two questions just to bring that individual to the correct line. But primarily the discussion is controlled by the counselee. So these are the three types of counseling: direct counseling, participative counseling, and non-direct counseling. And here again, I want to emphasize that no one system is better than the other. The situation, the state of the counselee, your relationship with the counselee will actually, many things will dictate what type of counseling you'll direct towards that individual. Will it be directive counseling, participative counseling, or non-directive counseling? So and that has been explained in the subsequent slides. So this is the end of the chapter on stress and management, and I want to start the very small chapter, which is teams and team building. It'll just take it's only 12 slides, so it will take 15-20 minutes time to finish. And after I finish this chapter, I'll talk about the group presentation and planning for the rest of the semester. So teams and team building, very small chapter. It'll just take a few minutes to finish. Only 9 slides.
Sir,
Yes.
I wanted to ask, what about the assessment for mid exam and our video presentation? So have
Yes,
you given us any feedback?
No, I've not given you because I'm in the process of seeing it. I finished seeing the videos and assessment of the other section. I'm in the process of seeing your one. Maybe during this lockdown, I'll be able to finish it and then I'll give you a feedback. Before that, I was a bit busy. I could not find any time to see it. But you'll be able to know it by this week, inshallah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anything else anybody has to ask? Okay, ask me after I finish this chapter. Okay, teams and team buildings. We always have to work as a team, and you as the manager, you will be the team leader, and it will be your responsibility to build that team strongly, so that you can work as a strong team. Here I'll talk about teams, different types of team, the life cycle of teams, and other factors related to teams and team building. Very small chapter, just take a few minutes. A task team is a cooperative small group in regular contact that is engaged in accomplishment of a specific task. So,
Sorry, sir, the slides haven't changed.
oh
It's
yes,
still in the last slide.
sorry about that. Let me change it. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So task team, a cooperative small group in regular contact that is engaged in accomplishment of a specific task. So it's like a committee that I talked earlier. There is not any difference between these two. So this is a group of people who works together, who are in regular contact with each other, and they are meant to accomplish a specific task. I'm showing this slide to tell you what is teamwork. So in this task or in this committee, every individual has some responsibility. Let me give you an example of the space shuttle, Columbia or Discovery. It is to go out for certain missions. It is to go and take supply to the International Space Station. And in the meantime, it is to do different research. And at different times, it had different missions. And it had a number of crews. Number one, the captain who flies the satellite, the spacecraft. There is a navigator who navigates. Probably there will be engineers to take care of malfunction. And depending on the other mission, other members are selected. Like if they want to do a study on the impact of gravity on human body, probably a doctor will be sent to make this study. If they want to study the growth of plants in a non-gravitational environment, maybe they will send an agriculturist, somebody who understands plants. If they want to do a test on physics in space, they'll probably send a physicist in the aircraft. So this flight will compose of a pilot, a navigator, and an engineer, a doctor, a physicist, and probably an agriculturist. So that is the task team. And teamwork is everybody has to do their job, and together they accomplish the task of the space shuttle. The agriculturist has to do his research on growth of plant in non-gravitational condition. The physicist has to do his physics experiment. The doctor has to understand or study the impact of non-gravity on human body for a prolonged period. The captain has to fly the space shuttle in the right direction and bring it back safely. Navigator has to fly the aircraft in the right direction so that it reaches the space shuttle, International Space Shuttle, and then it comes back. The engineer has to ensure that all machines function properly. So all together is teamwork. Everybody has to do their responsibility, perform their responsibility, so that the entire team, the mission itself becomes successful. Now everybody is successful, but the pilot fails to fly the space shuttle, it crashes and everybody dies. It has no value. Everybody does the job, but navigator could not find the International Space Shuttle and replenish supplies. So it's a failure. So if one person fails, the failure goes to everybody. So teamwork is when everybody knows their job and they can accomplish their job to contribute to the overall fulfillment of the mission of the task team. Now, like life, like human being, like any animal, a team will also have a life cycle, and its life cycle has 5 phases. Now, human being, we have many phases. We have infancy, we have childhood, then youth, then middle age, higher middle age, old age, and you die. So, similarly, a team will have 5, cycles. Number 1 cycle is forming. Share personal information, know, accept one another, attention towards group task, courtesy, caution. So, forming is the first stage. For example, a team has been formed from members, 7 members from around the world, or 7 members from different office in Bangladesh, in different districts. Many of them may not know each other or may have never seen each other. If you are known to each other, then this forming stage cycle is very short. If the members are new, if they are unknown to each other, then this cycle will have, in this cycle, you'll share your personal information, you'll tell your name, tell others who you are. The way we started this class, I knew no one. So initially I told you to make a presentation, introduce yourself to me. If it was a live class, I would have gone and listened to you telling me about yourself. But now, since it's online, I told you to send me a video. And then you try to, in this phase, a cycle, you try to know each other. and attention towards group tasks. And in this phase, you are very courteous to each other. You are very cautious so that people likes you, people do not misunderstand you. You are very formal in this stage. Storming is the next stage. Here, everybody competes with each other for status, fight for position of relative control, external pressure, tension. This is a stage of tension. Although in a space shuttle, the captain has been nominated, he's the captain, but others wants to also be influential. They want to exert their influence. So in any team, in the storming stage, everybody tries to establish their control. They try to prove that they're better than others. People should have confidence in them. They want to take the lead. So this is the storming. It's like a storm. Jhorer moton. Here a cycle of tension prevails in the storming stage. And then norming, when moved together in cooperative fashion, balance between competitive forces, group norm emerges to guide individual behavior, cooperative feeling increases. So in the third stage, norming, where all the storming is over, you have competed and already status have been established. Like if you look at a group of puppies, at a kukur bachcha diyeche 5-6টা, if you look at the puppies, you'll find that there is a competition, there is a status within the puppies. Some puppies, because the mother has a certain amount of nipples, although dog has more, like a human, like if a human mother has 2 nipples that a baby can suckle, and a baby rotates from one to the other and mother decides. But for a dog, it can have a litter of 5-6 puppies, and the number of nipples are limited. So they have to compete with each other, and they'll fight each other, they'll compete, and one will be more dominant than the other, and there will be a status that will be settled within the group of puppies. And after the status is settled, there is no fight over it. Everybody goes as per their serial. Somebody whose serial is later, that puppy will never try to drink earlier, because that is in the norming stage. So in this stage, everybody's status has been fixed. Everybody starts moving together in a cooperative fashion, because ultimately they have to cooperate. They have to fulfill the task. All the competing forces are balanced, and a certain behavior pattern or guideline is set, and they start working together. That is what is norming. And then performing is the main phase, when the task of the team is accomplished. Group matures and learn to control complex challenges. Functional roles are performed, tasks are efficiently accomplished. So in this performing stage, the main task of the team is performed together by all members. And finally, the adjourning phase is the ending phase, when the team accomplishes its task, the job is done, and then the team is disbanded and it goes back to wherever they are. Because whenever a team is formed, they are doing something additional. They have an actual responsibility somewhere else. Maybe he's assistant manager marketing, somebody is manager finance. But this, when the team is formed, they leave their original responsibility and they try to do this task that has been given to this team. And after this task has been done, they go back to their original job. That is the adjourning phase. That's the ending of the cycle. So this is the typical 5 phase of a team, life cycle of a team. However, some team may not have all the 5 cycles. For example, a team is formed by 3 members who know each other very well. They work together for many years. In that situation, forming stage will not be required. Even storming stage will not be required, because they will not compete with each other. They know each other. They know each other's status. So that may not be necessary. At times, norming may not be necessary. Maybe performing and adjourning may be the only 2 phases in that life cycle. So this is the maximum cycle that a team can have. Factors contributing to team success, very important. Number 1, supportive environment. Encouraging members to think like a team, adequate time for meeting, demonstrating faith in members' capacity to achieve. Now here, what are the factors that will contribute to the success of a team? Number 1, all the members of the team must think that they are a member of the same team. There should be enough meetings and conversations and discussions and debates between all the team members. And each team member must have the faith on the other. There must be a supportive environment. All the members of the team must have faith and confidence in the other members of the team, and they must start working as a team. Skill and role clarity, skills and role clarity, each to be qualified to perform their job, have a desire to cooperation. So here, skill and role clarity is very important. Now, as I gave you the example of this space shuttle, the agriculturist who will do the research on the growth of plants in non-gravitational condition, and the what's the other person? The physicist who will do the research on physics, and the doctor who will study the impact of non-gravity on human body. The doctor has to be a good doctor. He must know the skill. The agriculturist must have a degree, must be skilled in her role, because the role that she is supposed to perform as an agriculturist, nobody else will be able to do it. That is why she has been taken to that flight, because others do not have that much knowledge on agriculture. Have you seen that movie Martian? Is it named Martian? Matt Damon.
Yes, sir.
They went on a mission to Mars, and there was an accident, and the shuttle flew back, leaving Matt Damon back. They thought that he's dead, and he started, he started utilizing science, and he started growing plants, potatoes. Anyway, if you have seen that movie, it's quite an interesting movie. দেখেছো তুমি ছাড়া আর কেউ দেখেছে এটা? I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Matt Damon is one of my favorite actors. So skill and role clarities means people must know their own job. They must be a master of their field, their profession, and they must work together as a team, because the physicist, the person who is going to do the experiment on physics, maybe they have to go out of the shuttle to have a spacewalk, and the captain must cooperate with him, the navigator must cooperate with him, others must cooperate with him, because everybody has to put on the space suit when somebody goes out. So you have to work as a team. Everybody, there must be a supportive and a cooperative environment prevailing within the team. Superordinate goals, higher goals that integrate the effort of two or more persons. Now, the space shuttle is going to replenish, send food and other items to the astronauts living in the International Space Station, maybe replenish, send a new member and bring back another member, and also do the 3 types of research that I have told you. Now, so it has this overall superordinate goal, and this superordinate goal will be accomplished when everybody's goal is fulfilled. When the space shuttle reaches the International Space Center, changes the astronauts, drops one, brings one back. On the way, they do the research on plants, they do the research on human body, they do the research on physics, and they safely come back to the Earth. So if everybody accomplishes their small goals, the overall superordinate goal will also be accomplished. And team rewards is given. Everybody is rewarded. It's not individuals are rewarded. The team has worked as a team, and irrespective of who contributed how much, everybody is rewarded equally. That is an important factor in contributing to team success. Okay, ingredients of effective group: diversity of opinion, information, and perspective. I am trying to explain it to you with the same example of that space shuttle. Diversity of opinion, information, and perspective. Here, people are coming from diverse background. One is an agriculturist, one is a physicist, one is a doctor, one is a pilot who is becoming an astronaut, one is an engineer, aeronautical engineer, and one is a navigator. So everybody is a profession, is an expert in their own line, in their profession, and this here they have diversity of opinion. Whatever the agriculturist knows about agriculture, plants, nobody else knows. Whatever the doctor knows about human body and anatomy, nobody else knows. And they have their own information that is necessary to conduct this research. That makes these ingredients makes the group so effective. Now, if you will send me to do the study on growth of agriculture plants in non-gravitational situation, and you send my grandson, who is 1 year 9 years old, to do the research on physics, and you send my driver to do the research on human body or non-gravity. So we are not expert. We don't have diverse opinion. We have no knowledge, bloody knowledge on that particular. So that will not be an effective tool. Independent choices not influenced by others. Now here, whatever I am supposed to do as an agriculturist, my choice is independent. Nobody has any influence on that because nobody knows anything about growth of plants in non-gravitational conditions. So here each member must be able to give their independent choice. They must not be, at times committees are built to make a cover up. That's not the committee we are talking about. There was an accident, maybe a fault of the government, some accident happened, and they form a committee until they're okay. This your committee is your job is not to blame the government. You whatever you write, you must recommend that the government is not at fault. That is not a good team or a good committee. So a good committee or a good team must have the independence to give their independence choice, and it should not be influenced by anybody else. Access to decentralized knowledge, empowerment to make decisions based on that knowledge, and team members must have access to decentralized knowledge. If somebody who's going to do a research on the growth of plant, he must have access to all the information, all the research that has been done on the growth of plant in non-gravitational condition. Only then they will be able to contribute and find something new. So this information has to be made available to them. An aggregate mechanism for producing collective decision from private judgment. And some decisions in that mission will be taken together, taking everybody's opinion. So there must be a system where in some common decisions, opinion of others can be taken and a logical decision can be reached. Teams will feel more motivated when there is shared sense of potency, where everybody feels that they are important. The captain, although he is the captain of the space shuttle, must not tell everyone that I am the most important person in this flight and everybody is under me. You're not important. That's not the truth. Everybody is important. Everybody must believe that their role in the team is important and vital. That sense of potency must prevail within the mind of all members. Experience meaningfulness. Of course, they'll experience meaningfulness. If they share sense of potency, they'll experience meaningfulness. The pilot will feel that to death and life of all these 6 members depends on me. And if this flight is successful, many things will be discovered. The doctor will say that this is an important research that I'm doing. Many medications and many understanding human body will be made clearer if I do this research. The agriculturist will say that there may be a situation where we have to do agriculture in a non-gravitational condition. So if this research is successful, I'll become, I'll become famous for doing this research. So everybody must feel meaningful. They're doing something important. Are given autonomy. You don't breathe on their neck, and they're given some liberty, some space, some independence, some autonomy to conduct the research and see their impact on result. And this will motivate them if they can see the result of whatever the pain or the work that they have done. If they can see the result, it will make them happy. Changing composition. Now in a team, at times team has to work for certain period of time, 1 month, 2 months, 2 weeks, and within that time it is possible that team members will change. Somebody will become sick, somebody will be posted out, somebody will be fired, somebody will die. So it's common that if it is a prolonged team which will work for a longer time, there will be members who will be changing. Now the problem is if many members changes at the same time, then there will not be any continuity. If 1 or 2 member changes after some time, okay, you can cope up with that. But if you have a 9-member team and 7 of them suddenly leaves, you'll not have any continuity. So for that, what you have to do is you have to anticipate and accept that team changes will happen. So the team leader must understand that there will be changes in the team and they have to prepare accordingly. Develop a plan for managing team turnover from the beginning. So the team leader must understand that people will change. So he should have a plan that he is supposed to retire after 2 months. So I have to think of an alternative from him. He is likely to be promoted. So if he's promoted, after 3 months, he will leave the team. So you anticipate what is going to happen, and then you plan the turnover. Think how best to integrate the newcomer. Then you have to have a plan. If someone new comes in, he must go through an orientation of 2-3 days where everybody briefs them and brings them on at the same information level as the one who left. That planning has to be done. Second part, social loafing, very important. It's a free riders effect. People, there will be many amongst us who will think that I'm invisible. People cannot see me. I'm one of the 20 people that I'm working. If 19 of them work, even if I don't work, nobody will mark me. So these are the people who tries to hide themselves and avoid responsibility, thinking that they'll not be noticed. Why this happens? Why this social loafing happens? Because if individuals have the perception of unfair division of work, if they think that everybody is not given equal amount of work, you are always being given too much of work and others are not given enough work, then you try to be a social loafing. You try to, have a free rider effect. You try to, hide in the crowd. Believe that co-workers are lazy. If you believe that co-workers are lazy, everybody is lazy. What is the use of you working hard? So I should not work hard. Feeling of being able to hide in the crowd, you have that false belief that you can hide in the crowd. Nobody will mark you even if you don't work. Believe that others intend to withhold their effort. Believe that others intend to withhold their effort. Believe that others can do more, but intentionally they are not giving their best. They're withholding some of their effort. So if these causes, these perception prevails, there will be cases of social loafing. Last three slides. Signals that indicate necessity of team building. Team building is very important, and you as a leader must understand when more team building effort has to be given. There will be certain signals that will indicate that more team building is necessary. Number one, interpersonal conflict among members between teams and leaders. Conflict will increase. There will always be fights between the members and teams. That's an indication that team spirit, team strength has reduced. Low degree of morale, low team cohesiveness. If the morale is low, if people are sad, there is less cohesiveness. That's an indication that this team needs building. Confusion and disagreement about roles within the teams, self-explanatory. Large influx of new members. If large number of new member comes in, this team will need new team building efforts. A disagreement over teams, purpose and task. Negative environment, everybody criticizes everybody, nobody appreciates anyone. If this situation prevails, stagnation, resisting change, new ideas, stagnation, the work is not progressing, everybody is opposing the change, no new ideas are coming in. These are some signals that will alarm the manager that, okay, this team needs team building. And you as manager, you have to understand that. And this list again is not exhaustive. There may be other signals that you have to look into. So these are certain skills that are necessary for team building. Number one is consultation skill. You as a manager, as I said, you remember consultancy, counseling, it's like counseling. You as a manager, you must be able to counsel your employees. You must have this skill to be able to build a strong team. Interpersonal skill, your ability, that's your emotional intelligence, your ability to mix with people, understand people, that's very important. Research skill, at times you have to find out the reason behind something that happened. You must have that research skill. Presentational skill, very important for managers. You must be able to articulate your dream, articulate your vision, articulate the instruction. You must have this presentational skill. And to be a successful manager in the future, your communication skill has to be very good. Your presentation skill has to be very good as a manager. And then ability to understand and give feedback. These are the two teams I think I have talked about before, self-managing team and virtual team. Self-managing teams are the teams which manages themselves. They are such expert in their field, there is nobody who can manage them. For example, you are hiring a team of scientists to do a research, and you tell them that I give you this 1 crore taka and 6 months time, try to do this research. And nobody should be able to manage them. They will come at their own time, they'll do the research at their own time, and they'll complete their job within their own time. These are self-managing teams, highly expert people, professionals who are capable of running themselves and they can manage themselves. This is a self-managing team. Virtual teams are very common now, particularly in the pandemic. We are like a virtual team. We don't see each other, we never touched each other, but we are taking this class virtually from distance apart. And to reduce cost, to make it, to save time, virtual teams can be formed where people are located in different parts of the world, and then they meet through VTC and other advanced technology, and then they conduct meeting and take decisions and implement. The team virtually exists in different parts of the world. They don't actually sit in one team, one room. That is what is a virtual team. So that's all about this topic. We have one chapter left. That is, I think, managing change, and we have 3 periods at hand. Shudipto, send me. We have a
No, sir.
class.
We have 2 period left
Why?
because there is 2 vacation in on 1st May, May Divas,
Hmm.
and another one is on 15 May. So
Okay.
we have 2 classes
So
left.
we have to find out a time to take another class, because 2 periods is holiday is not acceptable. So what we will do is, maybe we need to find another day where I can take a short class, but I try to cover it within the 2 days. So in the next class, 24th, the final exam, your final exam will be on the 22nd. So I finished the last chapter on 24th of April, and then we'll have the group presentation on 8th of May. If I cannot finish the group presentations on 8th of May in one period, we may take another class on the following week, on any of the weekdays in the evening. And then we'll have the final exam on 22nd of May. Now about the group presentation, I have briefed you earlier. I'll again briefly tell you about the group presentation, and then if you have any doubt, you can ask the questions. Each group will be formed with 4 to 6 members, not less than 4, not more than 6. Each member will have students from both sexes, male and female. One should be a working group member, and they should choose a company, preferably the company that one of the group members are working in. It doesn't have to be a famous company, it doesn't have to be a big company. You'll be given extra credit if you do the study on the company that one of the group members are working in. And what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to study the OB practices in that company. And OB practices, I have finished almost all the chapters, only managing change is left. So you know the topics under OB. You don't have to study all the aspects of OB in that company, because you'll not be able to finish it. You can choose 2, 3, 4 aspects, and you try to study and give me a understanding as to the OB practices of that company. You'll try to find out the good practices, what we can learn from how they handle the OB aspect in that company. And then you'll also try to identify the drawbacks, what they do not do. And based on what they do not do, what they should do, you should recommend. How they can improve the OB practices in that company. So that should be the crux of your presentation. This presentation will be for 15 to 20 minutes long, not less than 15 minutes, not more than 20 minutes. Each speaker has to speak, and the amount of length of each duration of each speaker should be equal. One should not speak for 10 minutes, and the second one should not speak for 10 seconds. It should be almost equal time. It should be equally distributed. You don't have to write a research paper because of the pandemic, but you have to prepare a PowerPoint presentation. The way that I take the class, one of the members of your team will operate the PowerPoint presentation, and all the members will speak one after the other, and he will operate the PowerPoint presentation. You will be properly dressed as managers. Gentlemen will have tie and suit, coat on. Ladies will have a formal dress, either a jacket, suit, or a sari. And you will be graded. All the members of each team will receive equal marks. If somebody speaks very well and somebody speaks very bad in your presentation, average mark will be given to all. So for this, you need to rehearse, you need to practice, and you need to start getting the job done. And I can very easily understand how much of effort you have given in preparing that presentation, and who actually worked and who are the free riders, the ones who try to hide in the crowd. That can be easily understood, and all will be penalized for that. It is a very important event, and many a times I adjust the grading based on the performance of the group presentation. This is how important it is. So I hope you are preparing well. I think I have given you all the information that you need on the group presentation, but nevertheless, if you have anything to ask me, you can ask me. The group
Hello,
presentation,
sir. This is Abul Khair, sir. Can I ask you a question?
most welcome.
Sir, like you said, we can choose company that one of us is working in. So, for example, in our group, if there are 6 members, and obviously 6 of us don't work in the same company. So, should we only focus on one company, or should we focus on 6 companies that we work in or have previously
No,
worked?
one company. You study. How can you study 6 companies in one presentation? I want you to study one company, and this one
Just one.
company should be preferably one of the companies that one of your team member works in.
Okay, good.
Okay, and if you cannot choose a 6 জনের মধ্যে কোন company you will choose, you have a boxing competition, and whoever wins that company you study, but one company only.
Sir, pandemic does not allow us to have boxing sessions.
Okay, you have a virtual boxing fight.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, any other question? Any other question?
Sir, is it supposed to be currently working or previously worked in a company that we can choose?
It does not
One of our
matter.
group
I
members?
told you it doesn't even have to be. It can be previously worked, currently working. It can be other company that you don't work in. I said preferably যদি কেউ কাজ করে ওটা ভালো হয়, না হলেও কোনো অসুবিধা নেই, অন্য কোনো কোম্পানি হলেও কোনো অসুবিধা নেই, বিকজ দি ওয়ার্ক হলো কোন কোম্পানি হয়, একটা কোম্পানি হলেই হলো। Understood?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so prepare on that. Quizের ব্যাপারে I did not want to take any other quiz. I thought এই প্যান্ডেমিকের মধ্যে এমনি তোমার ক্লাসটা করছে, একটা কুইজ ইজ এনাফ, বাট ক্যাপ্টেন খুব আগ্রহী আরো কুইজ দেওয়ার ব্যাপারে, বারে বারে হি ইজ রিমাইন্ডিং মি। তোমরা কি আরেকটা কুইজ দিতে চাও?
স্যার
না,
আগে
স্যার।
আগে যদি আমাদের মার্কটা যদি স্যার মানে দেখা যেত স্যার ফার্স্ট কুইজের, তাহলে স্যার সুবিধা হতো।
I told you to not to bother about grades. তোমরা এই গ্রেড নিয়ে তো কেন ব্যস্ত? Are you learning something?
Yes sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Is the lectures beneficial? Are you learning something new?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Definitely
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir, obviously.
Sir, আর
Don't
quiz দরকার নাই,
bother
sir.
about grades.
Yes, sir.
Grades will not bring you success in life, I can tell you. তুমি এখানে A পেলা কি না B minus পেলা, ultimately কে chairman of the company হবে, that will not be dictated by this. So just forget about the grades. Try to learn as much as possible. Try to enjoy whatever I tell you, the lectures that I give. And আমি একটু সুদীপ্ত নিয়ে ফান করলাম। Actually, he's one of the finest captains that I have. He's very meticulous. He reminds me on everything, and his responsibility to remind me about the quiz. So, quiz আমি আসলেও আর নিতে চাচ্ছি না।
Sir, দরকার
তোমরা
নাই,
তোমরা একটা কাজ করো, আমি তোমাকে একটা অ্যাসাইনমেন্ট সর্ট অফ দেই। এটা হলো তোমার যে লাস্ট স্লাইডে ছিল তোমার কাউন্সিলিং, not this. Okay, in the interpersonal behavior slide, have I shared the slides with you? Interpersonal, the last classes.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, I'll send the slides to you. Interpersonal behavior যে চ্যাপ্টারটা, এই চ্যাপ্টার যে লাস্ট স্লাইডটা, ইনফ্লুয়েন্স অ্যান্ড পলিটিক্যাল পাওয়ার, এটা লাস্ট একটা স্লাইড আছে, এখানে কিছু টেক্সট লেখা আছে। এখানে বলা আছে যে পলিটিক্যাল অফিস পলিটিক্স, এটা কি অ্যাকচুয়ালি গুড অর ব্যাড? Some people think that is bad, some people think that is good. Some people think that a office politics থাকলে people try to take advantage, try to have their influence and try to gain some personal interest. Others says that the political office politics is important. It creates an influence that the manager should have. So I want you to read this paragraph, and I want you to write a paragraph on that. I just want your opinion. If you just read that paragraph, you'll be able to understand what I want to know. Read that paragraph, and you can type the answer. You don't have to write it on the manuscript, and then you should email it to Sudipto. Today is Saturday. I give you one day's time. By tomorrow evening, you please mail it to Sudipto, and Sudipto make a folder and send it to me by 10 p.m. tomorrow. Is that clear?
Okay, sir.
So just one paragraph.
Yeah, just one paragraph. I just want to know your vision. Etar kono the answer nai. There is no the answer to that. Mother, you need only 20 minutes time to answer this. I just want to know your opinion. And probably everybody will maybe getting the same marks. But I just want to see how creative you are and how
So
you think on that.
what about the word limit, sir?
Half a paragraph, half a page maximum.
Okay, sir.
ঠিক আছে? Our final exam will be on 22nd. I'll brief you on final exam in subsequent classes. Don't think about the final exam. তোমাদের hopefully next ক্লাসের আগে আমি তোমাদের midterm assignment এবং ভিডিও রেজাল্টটা আমি তোমাদেরকে দিতে পারবো and prepare for your group presentation. So if you don't have anything to say, let's say goodbye. Almost iftar time is approaching. So please take care, be safe.
Sir, I have one question, sir. The final exam, sir, will it be in paper form, written form, or
I
will
don't
it
want
be?
to answer this. I told you the final exam ব্যাপারে আমি পরে বলবো। তুমি এখন এটা জেনে কি লাভ তোমার বলো দেখি এটা কি হবে না হবে any benefit you'll get if you know it now?
No, sir. Like we can take a preparation, like if it's like written
22 May. Today is 17th of April. এখনো 1 মাস 5 দিন বাকি আছে। I told you I'll brief you on this in the next class or subsequent classes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Thank
No,
you.
sir.
Have a safe day. Nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.